Hello everyone, we're your hosts Connor
Jack
and Jona,
and this is Podcast Lizard.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4. Today we want to talk about 3 main topics. The first of all is going to be about the podcast we were supposedly going to make now, but it was going to be the game show. We started it, we recorded it, and it didn't really turn out so well, so we want to cover that first of all, so you know about how that went.
after that we're going to get into Miscreated again. We touched on this a little bit in the last podcast, but it's a game we've been playing a lot together recently. And we've got quite a few stories to share about the game.
And the third one's going to be an Ad-Lib game, and we'll talk more about that when we come to it.
Cool. So, first of all, this the podcast that we failed on, essentially.
Yeah, the game show.
The game show. I mean, when we were doing it, it sounded mint. It sounded great.
It's a really good idea for a podcast. It really is.
I loved doing it when we were recording it.
Yeah, it was so fun to record.
It was one of the best podcasts to record. It was so funny.
And then when we listened to it back, it was horrendous.
It was so bad. I don't know what happened, but it just did not go well.
We've been debating on whether we should release it, but we've come to the conclusion that we're not going to, as of yet. Anyway.
Yeah, so for this episode 4, it's not going to be the game show. But there is a possibility that we're going to release it a little bit later on down the line, maybe a special or something. We're tinkering with that.
We'll see how it goes with that, but just to give a bit of context, when we actually listen to it back over, it just didn't sound like how we planned it would in our heads. It's really hard to describe. Like, recording it sounded amazing, and then when we listen to it back, it just didn't. It's really hard to get that across without actually hearing it. But obviously, we don't want to release shit content, so you won't hear it unless we decide to slap it out there later on down the line, like we said.
We've said it before in these podcasts. It's one of them. It's so shit. It's tinkering on good. There is some good parts in the podcast, in the little game show. There are some good little jokes. There's a little persona that Jack turned into at the beginning. And then it didn't carry on to the end of the podcast, it's so weird.
It gradually lost.
The energy was like really high, and then by the end it was tinkering on the floor.
It's mainly because I was supposed to be keeping up a character, and then gradually, as the episode carried on, I forgot.
That was like the hardest thing we've ever had to record. The intro to that when Jack had his persona.
Oh yeah.
So hard.
We had to mute ourselves because we were laughing so much.
I mean, I didn't even think it was that funny, but it's because it was so outrageous. It's so like you weren't expecting it to happen, and you just cried laughing. And I kept having to repeat myself, and you just kept getting worse while I repeated myself.
I remember the second time you did it, I was like, I'll not mute myself, I'm fine, I'll not laugh. And then he started the intro, and I saw Jona's mute on Discord go up, and I knew that he was laughing. Obviously I couldn't hear him, but I knew he was laughing, and I just burst out laughing and ruined take 2. I was like, I'm so sorry.
It's like the millisecond after he started, I knew straight away I was going to laugh at him.
I didn't think I was that funny.
It really was.
Even though you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though we knew it was going, like, oh my god. Brilliant.
I mean, that wasn't the only moment where we had to keep repeating ourselves throughout, was it?
No, there's a hell of an outtake. That happened. That's pretty funny because it did have hell in the outtake.
I didn't remember which one you were talking about there.
Yeah, you know the one. What the hell?
Yeah, I know what the hell.
What were you
What the hell
trying
was
to
I
say?
doing? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
It's like you'd answer the question right. It was like between rounds, and he's gonna ask like, "How did you know that?"
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And every single take, you're just going, "What the hell?"
It was like 3 times it happened. It was so funny, man.
The first time was funny, but the second time you started crying laughing, and then didn't I? It was like a long break, and then we tried to restart again. I did it a third.
Yeah, it was like it would all calm down. Everything was okay. We got back into it. We got to the right mentality, and then you did it again. We were like, "What? What's going on?" That was so good, man.
I did like recording it though. Like, I can't say that enough because it was super fun recording it.
It really was.
I wish it worked when we listen to it back over.
Yeah.
Can you like explain how it doesn't sound well when we listen to it over?
Well, one round in particular didn't work like at all. The questions, I'll hand it to you, Jack, were really good. They worked pretty much.
I tried really hard to come up with the questions.
Yeah, and then we had a third round, which was a buzzer round, and we had this idea that it would be really good to get like voice snippets from something that we said previously in like a random conversation. We touched on this in episode 3.
Yeah.
But then when we put the buzzers in, it didn't work. It really didn't. It sounded like we were saying what the buzzer was. It sounded like we were just in that conversation. It was weird.
See, that's the trouble with podcasts, because you can only hear sound. It's our voices. That was the buzzer. If it was like a video, you'd notice that it wasn't us talking because it was just like a sound being played over the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because you're hearing our voices anyway, it just sounded like we were just saying that instead of it being the buzzer.
Yeah, definitely.
If that makes sense. It's
It does.
super awkward.
So that was one of the first things that I heard in the final cut of the episode, which I was like, I voiced it to you immediately after watching it, after listening to it. Sorry, I said it doesn't work, and you agreed that it was something that it needed changing, but we didn't know how.
Well, initially we thought we would still keep the podcast and we would just get rid of the buzzers, didn't we? And we thought about cutting a few bits here and there, but it wasn't until like just a couple of days ago, so when we decided we're not putting it out.
Yeah. It's also the planning of the whole episodes. There needed to be a lot more planning, and after doing the episode, the editing of it, there needed to be a lot more production on it. So
Mhm.
there needed to be a lot more jingles associated with it. The whole show needed to have like an identity, and it was quite hard to fall on one person's shoulders.
Yeah, well, I would say that in itself is another point, falling on one person's shoulders to do the entire podcast planning. It means because it was supposed to be so like you didn't know what the questions were going to be or the topics to the questions.
Yep.
It then meant that I had to plan everything, and you had to do it on the spot.
Yeah,
So
there was no
there was
help.
no like planning on your sides. It was like you had no idea what you were getting yourselves into at the start and all the way through the podcast. So it was
Yeah.
like really difficult to like
I think we could have had more of, like, me and Connor got more of a structure down, like all of us together, and then you're only filling in the questions rather than
yeah.
directing the whole thing. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
even then, it's like such an ambitious idea for us to do that.
It is, but I think if we actually like, I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily recorded, but if we just did that a few times, we might like just build up a natural structure within ourselves on how we would go about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if we actually like practiced it a few times, then it might have flowed better. It might have sounded better when hearing it back.
You're right, yeah, yeah. But then it's a thing, you can't redo questions, can't you not?
No, you can't.
So
You can't.
that's tricky. It's
And
something that... Sorry?
It's all the planning that you put into the episode as well. Like, you couldn't just put all that planning into just a test episode and keep doing them until you get one right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a lot of time wasted.
It's a lot of work.
And you could be doing other podcasts.
You're right.
What were you even going to say?
Yeah, what I was going to say, the idea in itself is something that I would like to revisit.
I'd love to go back to.
If it came across like how we recorded it, like how we thought it would be, it'd be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so different in my head how it was going to come out.
Yeah,
The thing is, a lot of the funny bits that were in that podcast, outtakes. You know what I mean?
yeah, it was
like-
around the podcast. So it wasn't
Yeah.
what was in the podcast. That was so funny.
So when I look back at that podcast, I'm thinking about all the outtakes, which were hilarious. But then when you strip those out, because obviously they've got no context within the whole podcast itself,
Yeah.
it just sounds horrible. So it takes out all the good bits. You might be thinking, I'll just leave them in then, but it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense. You'd just hear us stopping halfway through, just having like a casual conversation because we didn't know what we were going to do next or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's where the funny bits happened. But like you said, I would love to come back to it one day when maybe we'll give it a bit of a break and then come back to it in a couple of months or something, maybe. You know,
Yeah.
see how we're feeling, do some extra planning.
But yeah, like we touched on earlier, it would be good to release it. So like, it's not fully cut at the minute. It's almost there to like be released as an episode, but it would be really good to release it as like a special for some sort of like milestone or something. It'd be good to let yous listen to what we did.
What could have been.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the reason why episode 4 isn't the game show that we thought of. One thing before we move on, we did have a name for the episode. So the show had a name. And that name was The Gauntless. Yes. Waiting for you to get in, like, but
I mean,
we'll keep going. Yeah, so the episode was called The Gauntlet. That was pretty much the name of our game show.
thought you were hyping it up there, like drum roll.
Yeah, probably leaving the phrase like drumming it up. The Gauntlet.
I didn't know you were expecting. Oh, is that my line?
I was waiting for like one of you to input something like to come in to like see it, but it's fine. It worked. We got there. Sorry. So it was called The Gauntlet.
Yeah, well, Jona came up with the name, like,
It was, yeah.
all credit.
It wasn't even like a serious one at first, or like an intentional one.
It was just
We
a
just-
silly name, wasn't it? Like you said.
Yeah, we were playing games, and I was like, we were talking about what should we name it, and I thought, let's just name it something serious. Instead of like, probably a gladiator name or something, like something really serious and over the top. And somehow I landed on Gauntlet.
It is a good name for the game show.
It latched on like a leech. I wasn't letting go of that name.
Nah.
The Gauntlet.
Me and you took a ride behind the name, and then it was like the next day, Jona was like, "Are we actually going for the Gauntlet?"
It's like he almost regretted saying it.
Yeah. But yeah, we did have a name for it, and you might see it in the future.
We'll keep you posted on that. Or you know, you could in the comments let us know if you really, really want to hear it. I don't know, if we get enough people saying so, then I guess we'd have to stick it out, wouldn't we? Wouldn't want to disappoint.
Like a petition goes up online and like loads of people get behind it.
Yeah, loads of people saying, we do not want to hear this. Alright, sorry.
It was a huge
I
mistake.
want to skip to about 15 minutes into the podcast then and ignore everything that we've just said.
Right, so that's the end of Gauntlet for now. Moving on to the next topic, Miscreated. We did mention this briefly in episode 3. It was a game that Connor owned at the time, and me and Jack just got it and we're planning to play it. But we've started playing it now. It's pretty much the only game we're playing together at the minute, and it's so much fun.
It really is.
I love it.
So yeah, we started playing it one way. So at the beginning of our Miscreated career, we pretty much like career, yeah. Time and adventure. We pretty much went on one server as all three of us. We went on one server and we picked a location and we built up a base. That's pretty much how we played it. For a good like 40, 50 hours or something.
Yeah.
And we had this incredible base. It was so good.
It was beautiful.
It was. It was something I can't really take much credit for building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty much Jack's baby, like.
I spent days on that.
The way that you build on that game is really long-winded.
It takes forever. It takes so long.
And hats off for like having that patience with it.
Yeah.
Because by the end of it, it was like, it was a 3-story building, and it had a really big garage on it.
Oh, the garage was fantastic. We fit 4 cars in there.
Which is
This is just like our wooden hut in the middle of the woods. Like hidden in plain sight. We're sneaking like massive vehicles in there and that.
It was hidden beside, like, right behind one of the main cities in the game, and we never got found. Well, I mean, that's it, never.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second, but
Yeah.
yeah.
there was always the same pickup driving, and the taxi as well, driving straight past, because we had a road near.
Yeah, it was like every now and again you heard a vehicle in the distance getting closer and closer. It was right next to us.
But that happened for about 2 weeks. Like,
It did, you
never
right?
got spotted.
No.
The base was quite big as well, actually. You know, if you were looking, if you knew where it was, you could see it. But because it was like surrounded by trees, you just it doesn't, like, you can't automatically target your eyes to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something you have to be looking for to see it.
That was definitely the case.
Yeah.
It was a really good location.
There was plans to actually even make it bigger.
There was,
Whoa.
you right? Yeah.
We were planning on making like a massive wall around it as well.
Yeah, so there was like gatehouses in the game, which are like, they were like 8-foot structures or something like that. Like lengthwise, and we were going to build like a gated community around our base.
It would have really helped. But it's just the time and resources it took to actually try and make that it was
Yeah.
frustrating.
So yeah, getting back onto them cars that were driving close to us. We think, because we found a base that was like just over a hill next to us. We think it was them who was driving past us. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it could be, but then again, you never really know, because I think that a lot of people just keep driving around the dirt tracks to actually find bases, because eventually
Right.
that's what we started doing.
Yeah.
I think I was reading like a Reddit thread about that's what a lot of people do, because a lot of people will build beside the dirt tracks rather than the main roads, which makes sense.
It does, you're right.
because dirt tracks are just easier for you to understand, to navigate, whereas if you're in the middle of a field, judging directions is a bit awkward. You got nothing to like give yourself a marker or a pinpoint to a location, you know what I mean?
Well, you struggle with locations.
Oh, right.
Throughout
This is the game. This is the game that like absolutely destroys my navigation skills. It's only this game. It
It's
never happened in the forest, did
unbelievable.
it?
No, it never happened in the forest, which is weird because the forest was just a game like was literally in a massive forest, whereas Miscreated has roads, signs, simple stuff to see.
I just keep getting lost. I couldn't get my head around the map,
It's incredible. It really is.
and I just kept losing track of where you guys were.
It was really recently as well. I remember that you were following a river. So we were in like a town called like Pinecrest, which is pretty much just up a river. And Jack was like, "Yeah, I'm following the river, no problem." And then it was like 30 minutes later or something. We were like, "Jack, where are you?" And then you ended up at like a city that was way out of the way.
Yeah,
It was like really far up the road.
even further away. I think it is the furthest city away.
Yeah. So if you look at the map on Miscreated, there's Pinecrest, and then there's a town called Downtown on top of the map, and Pinecrest is near the bottom. And
Yeah.
somehow Jack, I don't know how you did it, but you followed the river all the way up to there.
Well, what I said was before, like, I got so sick of running that I decided to kill myself, and just to see where I'd spawn, and I kept getting spawned further and further away. So I just decided, right, I'm just gonna run. I got sick of trying to kill myself. Decided I'm gonna run. Found a road sign. Found a city. Started going around that city because it was the furthest one away. So I just started looting it, and it had like a police station there and guns, notorious. Spawn there, a lot of them. So I thought I'd have a peek. Well, anyway, when I got there, I geared myself up. I had canny fat loot. I died there, and then then I found you guys. But that was all over a progression of half an hour to 40 minutes ish.
Crazy.
I missed quite a lot.
You did. It was quite eventful. So the downfall of our first base. Why did we leave it? What happened?
So I logged on one day. Who was I with? Because I was with someone, and then one of yous came on later.
You're with Connor, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure you messaged me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I logged on, had a look around the base. I always log off in the base. It's just a cure. The base was fine, no damage. I always had a little check every time I logged in. Went outside, everything looked fine. Opened the garage doors. There was a massive hole in the back of our garage. All the vehicles were gone. I was like, Connor, get on here quick.
The one thing I can't believe is we had a tractor in there. I can't believe they took the tractor.
Why would you take the tractor?
I know. I have no idea. It was like we had a pickup truck, a taxi, and a quad, and then a tractor. They took all of the vehicles.
The tractor's one-seater and super slow. We were only using it for storage, for the boot.
Pretty much, yeah. I couldn't believe it. So then
It was soul crush.
it was. You're right. And then it's the sort of the thing where like we know someone knows where our base is.
It was like someone flicked a switch in our heads at that moment, and we were like, right, we are going to find who did this, and we're going to steal our shit back and raid the shit out of their base.
Oh, Jack, you were so pissed. I remember
I
that.
was so pissed.
First thing you did, you ran into the biggest, like the big city, and tried to like murder everyone you saw.
Took out a megaphone. Out people's... Oi!
It's like from that point on, we just haven't cared about our lives. And we
Yeah.
just ran around with pistols and guns and caused havoc.
That was really the point that changed the game for us, because after losing all the stuff that we've collected, we just thought there's no point in trying to collect this stuff anymore. Let's just grab some guns and go around raiding bases or killing loads of people. Just like play the game that way instead of trying to build a base and trying to collect all these things to make ourselves, you know, if we died, we'd be able to restock quicker or whatever.
Yeah.
It's pointless, really, doing all that. You spend so many hours just collecting food and stick them in the back of a truck when you could just run down the shop, eat a tin of canned meat, and then just be on your way.
You're right. It's sort of like we were playing the game in a really slow-paced manner,
Mhm.
and then when we just changed, it's a completely different game. It really is.
Just by changing the way that you play the game has it's made the game completely different.
Totally.
It's unreal.
It is.
We're just foot soldiers now. We don't have no home.
We're totally just messing with people as well on the servers. It's
What
so
do you
funny.
remember that guy that we found when we were on bicycles?
Oh, that was mint. That was one of the first times where we hopped on like a server to like just mess about with, and like there was so many bikes on the server. It was insane. It's like
Since we lost our base, we just hop on high pop servers all the time now.
yeah,
It's never always the same one. Just like it just depends on which one we can fit in, depending on the population of it.
aye.
And
So-
then one time when we hopped in one, there was like 4 bikes right next to each other, wasn't there?
It was like we
in
were
one
all
city.
meeting in Pinecrest. So yous came from another city, Brightmoor, and I was coming from like the airport. And then I was running. I found a bike, and I was like, "I've got a bike," and yous two were like, "We've just found a couple of bikes." So yous were coming in from Brightmoor, and I was coming in from the airport, and we met up. And then there was a random guy running on the road, and there was a bike a little bit further on up the road. And I remember, talking to him in the voice chat, going, "You can hop on that bike and join our bike crew if you want." And he was like, "That's what I was gonna do." And we were like, "Yes!" So there was 4 of us just driving around like a really popular town as like a 4-person bike crew.
Just pedaling around, following that random guy.
Yeah, then he
He
ended up
started
dying,
leading us
didn't
to
he?
people.
Yeah, he died somewhere, and he was running back to get his loot and all that.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You just can tag along and like hunt these guys down if you want." We were like, "Yes, of course."
Oh, and then when we come down to this base, and then some guy was running away from us, and we started chasing him, and like it was down in a river, and we beat the shit out of him. Like us 4 just like circled him and bully circle.
Oh, that was funny. It was us 3 surrounded him, and the guy who we tagged along with, like was standing watching us.
Ah,
Proper
he was like,
smack
"Kill
this
him."
player. Aye, proper
Us
smacked
3
him and he
just
went down.
punching this guy.
That was so funny, that man.
He took no time to die with the 3 of us just pounding into him.
I think it's the quickest way we've killed someone with like bare hands. Like
Aye.
I've never seen nothing like it. We were like piranha. It was incredible. I remember me and Jona were on a roof in a city, and we saw a guy on the floor who was like really looted, and we were messing with him, saying like we're on the roof, like we were saying like we can see you, like we're proper looted. Do you remember this, Jona?
Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it was so funny. So like we were telling him to stick his hands up and that. We were like, we know where you are. You're down the alley, and like this was like 10-15 minutes of like just completely messing with this guy's life, thinking that we're gonna like just murder him and take all his stuff. And then I was like, I described where the ladders were to get onto the roof. And we were like fresh spawns, we had no loot or anything on us. So he came onto the roof and he was like, "Oh no, you have nothing, I've been proper duped." And then he ended up murdering you, Jonna.
Yeah, I don't know what that was
Cold blood.
about.
I think it was because like a few minutes earlier, me and him had like a little moment.
Yeah.
We were harmonising. And then I tried to run at him and kill him, but he shot us, and that was the end of that. It was pretty funny.
Where was I at this point?
I think it was like late. So I think you'd went off at that point.
Was it?
Yeah, because I remember we slept on till like 2:30 or something, didn't we?
Yeah, that was one of the nights we did.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh,
I remember yous being on that roof again, though, because I came on with yous.
Yeah. It's like our go-to spot now to
Was that
look
then?
at the city.
It was the next night, wasn't it, where we went back on and we met up with Joe?
Yeah, yeah. And we went on before, and we went into one of the cities, and there was a full-on war going on. It was insane. It was one of the first times we went on a pop, and I think it was just me and Jona at that point. And we were just hiding in the trees, watching like 3 groups of people fight each other. That was pretty crazy.
It was amazing when all the folks sit on the town as well, you couldn't see anything.
Aye. And there was a
We're
guy
moving-
in a tractor.
Yeah. We're moving from like building to building, and every time we left the building you just hear gunshots going off.
Oh, it was
Not even
every
us.
time, you're right. It's like,
It's
alright,
just so weird.
3, 2, 1, we'll move. And there was always a gunshot. We were always panicked and ran back into the room. Every time. That was crazy.
And like in the midst of all this gunfighting, there's just someone driving around in a tractor in the busiest town where all the action is.
Like people fully looted with weapons, and he's just riding around in the tractor bibbing his horn. I remember me and you like were panicking in like a room going, there's a vehicle that's coming closer. We're looking out the window and it's just the tractor going by. That was mint. That was mint.
Do you remember when the first time we actually logged into a high-pop server after we decided not to use the same server as our old base?
Oh, Jack, that was brilliant.
How good was that?
That was
I mean,
so good.
We were so used to really not seeing people that often from our base server because it had like maximum, it would have like 20 people in. And
Yeah.
then when we hopped into a high-pop server, it was like 50 people, wasn't it?
It was I.
But it wasn't 50 out of 50, it was like 40 people in or something, but there was loads of people all around. Like in our first 5 minutes of logging onto the server, we already encountered like 8 different people.
But that was crazy. Like we were in like the hype up server, and we spawned right next to each other,
Yeah,
which
me
is
and you
it's really
spawned
rare. On that
right
game.
next to each other and right next to 2 groups of like heavily geared up people.
Aye, and then this fresh spawn ran at me in the green shirt, trying to
Started punching you.
trying to kill us and that, and I was just like hiding in a bush. So I started punching him back, and then I ran round the corner of the house where Jack was, and there was like a group of like 4 people fully geared up with like rifles and that. So I get on the mic, me, and I go, "This guy in the green shirt, hostile, is gonna kill everyone." And like the group probably like go up to this guy in the green shirt. And the guy in the green shirt takes his shirt off so he's not wearing it anymore. And then one of the guys is like aiming at him with a rifle. And the guy with the green shirt, who's took it off at this point, like he can do like emotes on the game. And he got his plate to like stick his finger up at the guy with the rifle. And his head went clean off like.
He ended his life like for sticking up the finger.
First 5 minutes into the server, I grassed on someone and got them killed.
But the thing is, right, you didn't realise that you still had to push to talk in.
Oh,
so
that's right.
In game, straight after he died, he was like, "Oh my god, I just got that guy killed."
And then I had a backshot. I was like, if he found a gun, like he would have killed us all.
He didn't realise he said that in game to everyone.
Because if you double click caps, it locks it on. And I was like, I didn't realise. That was funny.
Aye. There was a time me and Jona farmed the thing as well.
Yes, the thing.
The thing. It's just really a massive fat type of zombie, but it just looks like the Thing.
Yeah.
We call it the Thing.
It's the perfect shape of the Thing.
It super looks like the Thing. Yeah, so like we would normally farm the Thing. So when you would get like blueprints of it, so you could build like special parts of like houses and that. And we would primarily use a car or something to run it over, which is like, it's really easy. You just hit it twice and it dies. But
Yeah.
Jack and Jona were on. And how were you farming the Thing?
Well, it's like when you kill the Thing, if you like run so far away from it, it'll respawn where it was, so you can go back and kill it.
No, it was like a method I'd seen someone else do where they were running away so far to where the Thing would leash and start going back to his original spot, so you can't like drag him to any part of the map. And when he's running back, he doesn't hit you. He's determined to get back where he was. So I'm just chasing him, smacking him in the back with a hatchet while he's running back. But we're doing this in like one of the busiest towns as well, so we still have to be careful about it.
Yeah. And then it came to a point where we had to hide in a bush, didn't we?
We had a car coming.
Aye. We're just happy enough. Keep smacking the Thing. The Thing died though. We killed it, and before you had a chance to loot it, we heard a car just like on the other side of the road coming our way. So we just quickly darted into a bush, and it just like we were like a meter stood away from it. It just drove straight past us and didn't see us.
There was gunshots before that as well, so
Aye.
probably the same people.
We could have been absolutely slaughtered, but like, just imagine, like I said it at the time, imagine how many times we've just drove past people who were just a meter away from us in a bush, and we would never even know.
It's super crazy, that.
It's proper crazy. Think about how many times that we've played the game, like how many times we've spotted people but avoided them. We didn't want conflict because we knew we couldn't handle it.
Well,
But
that was pretty much the old way we playing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever
yeah.
we would see one person, because it was a low pop server, so almost everyone was pretty much hostile.
Yeah, on the base server.
Yeah. So we used to always just cower in a corner and wait for them to pass.
Yeah. Imagine how many people do that to us though when they see us as a 3 running around.
Yeah. Proper panic and get into a bush.
Yeah. We don't always kill on sight though, do we? In fact, we don't generally kill on sight unless they're like
No.
geared up.
Not normally, no.
If someone's got a weapon in hand though, I won't hesitate to shoot them.
You pretty much have to in Miscreated, because you never know what they're going to do to you.
Yeah, that's true, but there are a lot of... It's definitely the game that I've played recently that has more friendly people in than any other game.
Yeah, definitely.
That is true. But I remember the other night where me, Jona, and another friend was playing, and it was like this American chasing us around the city going, "You frickin' idiots!"
There's a couple, wasn't there?
There was, yeah, you're right, yeah. But there's like one predominantly on the mic. It was like chasing you around, calling you a frickin' idiot.
I was a fresh spawn,
Yeah.
running around a busy city, and he was like, they saw us in the alleyway, and they're like, "Just put your hands up, don't move, I will kill you." Like, they thought I was the prisoner, but I didn't care if my guy died. I had nothing to lose. Like, what am I going to gain from standing there for them? So I was just like weaving in and out of shops, and he's really kicking off, going, "You're a freaking idiot. You're one of these stupid kids on Miscreated." And I had nothing at all. I was just running into some like housing estate, getting shot at, and it was amazing how they couldn't kill us.
It's pretty hard, like, actually, to be accurate in the game if someone's just weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of like bullet delay, isn't there? So you need to like eat them where they're going, almost.
Kind of, I think. never really like used a proper rifle to kill anyone. Like I have once or twice, but they've been stood still.
Yeah.
Pistols I like, to be honest. They're just quick and easy.
I like a rifle. Like it's one headshot kill. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah. We never really had the chance to have like an automatic gun yet.
No. I had one, but like it went pretty downhill when we went to the police station in downtown.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty weird.
I remember one time when we were walking into downtown, and you got a few clips from that, didn't you? You shadow played them and put them on YouTube.
Yeah. So like, we've got like a little miniature compilation on YouTube of like just like 3 things that happened to us on Miscreated, and one of them, it starts out where me and Jack are having a conversation, and my voice is well known to break. It breaks all the time. So like, it starts out where I say yeah to a question that Jack says, but it's like yeah, like that. And then the whole like clip is just Jack using the voice chat going like yeah in the voice chat, and it starts like double echoing, and it sounds weird as out. It's so funny, man. Like me and Jona were crying.
What were the other 2 clips on it? I can't remember what they are. Oh, there's one where Jona gets killed, where you like look to your left.
Yeah, the second one. That was so funny, that man.
That was like perfectly captured confusion there.
It really was, you're right. So
We both just spawned without knowing really where we were. And me and Connor, that is. And we ended up on like other sides of this river. And I was running along, and I said to Connor, oh, there's someone on the other side of this river. And he saw me at the same time.
So I ask him, is that you in the red? And John replies, yes.
And I'm just waving across the river, and he's saying, look left. As in, like, there's some geared guy running up with a gun while I'm waving. And I thought he was just meaning, like, he's to my left, and there was someone else I'm waving at across the river. And as soon as I look left, I just get this shot straight at the head and die, for no reason.
That was so funny. And then I start like bobbing and weaving, like so I think I'm gonna die next. So that was the second clip. The last clip was the bridge incident with you, Jack.
Oh yes. Oh, I love that. That's like one of my favourite Miscreated moments.
So explain what happened.
We're just outside of a city, and I think we were planning on leaving, and I was just going to meet them at the bridge.
I think we were going to downtown at that point.
Yeah, I was just going to meet you guys at the bridge, because I was close to it anyway.
Yeah.
So when I was stood around there, I saw a guy coming from the opposite side of the bridge, and he started talking to us, and at first I just thought he was friendly, so I just started chatting with him, and I think he was just stalling, waiting for his mate to come. So he says, oh yeah, look over there. So I turned and looked over the other side of the bridge and saw that his mate was running down, and he had a gun in his arms. And I was thinking, oh god, I'm gonna be jumped here. And this guy was coming close, and he was saying, oh hey, have you got any stuff? And I instantly said to Connor while we were in Discord, these guys are gonna kill me, I need backup right now. And I just kept talking to them in game casually. Like I was like, oh yeah, no, I've got nothing, I'm just a fresh spawn. And then I think what did I say to you, Connor? I was like, you're gonna have to kill them.
Yeah, so it was like he was like, this is my friend, and then the cornered you on the bridge, and then you were like, all right, they're gonna kill us here. And as soon as you said they're gonna kill us here, I started firing away with my AK. I kill the first one, and I start taking like pock shots at like the other one, and the other one runs and jumps off the bridge.
But he dies off the fall.
He dies off the fall, yeah. And then as that happened, Jack shouted in the chat, shouting in the voice chat, "Yes, these are my friends."
But all of this was happening while Jona was stuck glitched in a bike under the ground.
Yeah, like the wheels were sticking out of the ground, but the rest of the bike and my body were under the ground, upside down, and I just kept getting kicked off the server, and we were looking for a fight, because I think this was after our base got raided. And
Yeah.
I was gutted that I missed it, but
Yeah.
at least it's on video now.
As it was happening,
brilliant.
you were like, "Oh no, I'm not there, guys." That was so funny. Yeah, so if you want to see them 3 clips, they are on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, just Podcast Blizzard on YouTube, or you can search for it called Miscreated Madness, is it?
Yes, hashtag
Hashtag
1. That might be the only one, but you never know. More might go
Well,
up.
I mean, you do have like a few more clips from Miscreated, don't you?
I do, yeah, I do.
Like 1 or 2?
And we're still playing it, so you never know, like... I mean, something happens every night.
Or every night.
Maybe I just see more clips than I normally do. I don't know, but it's not something that we're really focusing on. It's something that, like... If the
Nah,
clips
it's
are there, they're there, you know?
It's mainly something for us to look back to, isn't it, really?
It
Just for our
is,
own
yeah.
amusement. But we actually had a comment on the video that we uploaded, didn't we? Like,
We
some
did,
guy
yeah.
actually liked the video.
I love
So-
this, he said.
Yeah,
Oh, shucks.
I know, right? Likes our content. Yes!
That's what you want, isn't it? You want...
Well, it is. I mean, like, we didn't put it up there for, like... I mean, at first it was actually going to be private, wasn't it? It was just going to be for us.
Yeah,
But then you
yeah.
actually made the video public, so I could see it without having to log into the Podcast Lizard YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah. It was just...
And then you just left it public.
Yeah. Why not, you know?
And then someone watched it and liked it. So, I mean, we're not going to be doing that for the publicity of the videos, but, like, if people like it, then we could still stick a few out. We're not going to, like, edit them perfectly and add, like, theme songs and banners and shit to it. But
Yeah. It's just, I think it would be something good when we're talking about a game like Miscreated. To have something
It's
what they
nice.
can see, you know?
yeah, it's nice to have
Yeah.
a bit of visuals.
Yeah.
Show what's going on. So we could upload a few of them. You know, a few more. Maybe in other games as well.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes. I mean,
Why
it's
not?
just whatever we capture that we like, isn't it, really?
Pretty much, yeah. So, what else is there to talk about?
Well, we had a few screenshots from the game, didn't we?
Yeah, there's some...
You could check them out as well, actually, couldn't you?
Yeah?
Yeah. Just on our Steams. You know, we've got a few screenshots of different things that we've came across.
I mean, my
Some of them.
favourite picture is that picture Jona got of the gnome, where it's literally like creeping into the photo. It's unreal.
It's so artistic. It's
Oh.
proper artistic.
It's insane. It's like smiling in the picture.
It's creepy gnome. It's even called creepy gnome in game.
Yeah, it is a hell of a creepy gnome. Like,
There's just something about the game where you want to screenshot everything. Like,
Yeah.
I never take screenshots on Steam for some reason.
it's a really good looking
Miscreated,
game.
yeah.
It's a really good looking game.
Well, they are planning on like updating it graphically, because like I've noticed there are some like points where they haven't put any textures on them. Like, you know, in downtown when we like looked over a wall and it was just like all grey.
Yeah, I was like metallic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just like part of the world just wasn't even. It didn't have any textures or anything on it. It was just like a grey model.
yeah. That's one thing I really like about Miscreated is you can see the full map, but the full map's not available yet because I haven't got to developing them sections of it yet.
Yeah.
But it's really good to see where it's going.
So you can see roads and trees going further out, but it's like it's blocked off by like a big wall. so you can't get past it. But you can still see that beyond there's still going to be more map for you to be able to access later on when they've actually developed that area a bit more.
I think it was you, Jona, who mentioned that there was a developer working on something.
Yeah, I think it was last week. He tweeted he's making a new town for the game. And it just got us thinking that must be such a fun job, just making random buildings and putting them together in the game.
Ah, definitely, man. So good.
It'd be picking the loot spawns and things like that I think would be the best. Like, oh, what's going to be the fat loot places in here? What's going to be the central building that everyone wants to go for?
But it's something like that where they'll get really creative, which they have already done in one of the cities downtown. Recently, one of yous found that in a hotel, if you like activate the generator, it starts like a lift, and you can go to like the top floor. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
And
Jonathan has mentioned that. And
Yeah, it's like normally you can get up to the 3rd floor or something before it gets blocked off.
right.
But if you can take the elevator, it's like the 9th floor, and it's supposed to be like jam packed with loot.
That's mint. So yeah, they have and they could get creative with the high loot places.
something I'd like to see more of, but I mean, that's one thing that we still plan on doing, isn't it? To go up that elevator up the top of the hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we haven't tried it yet. We don't know what's actually up there.
Even if we don't get the loot, I just want to get up there to see what it's like.
Yeah, that's what I'm most curious about anyway. Does that about cover that?
I think we've talked kind of about Miscreated there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a pretty good discussion about Miscreated there. Now, let's move on to the Ad-Lib game. This is something that we hope comes off really well. If it doesn't, I mean, it'd be pretty funny if it doesn't either way.
We're still uploading this podcast either way.
Yeah.
I'm not like cutting this segment out or doing anything like that. After what happened with the last podcast, we're going with this one.
Yeah. So if this bombs, at least it'll be funny. Cause
At
it
least you're
bombed,
still hearing it.
you know? Aye. So, the Ad-Lib game. Where did it come from? So, where it came from is, I don't know if you know who Jimmy Fallon is. I assume everyone who's listening to this does. He did a segment with, I think it was Benedict Cumberbatch. And
Yeah.
he's done it with Chris Pratt as well.
I haven't seen that one.
He sort of like plays like a Santa thing. It's quite good. So what they normally do is they intro it, and then Jimmy Fallon asks the celebrity a few questions to get some random words, and then they come up with a story that the words tie in. So it's all improv. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. An
So
improv story.
The words have came about from just simple questions, such as like, name a kind of sport, name a type of food, name a kind of weather, you know, just basic things like that. And we were just asking these to a friend, and we've got like a long list of different things. So each sentence has to include that word or phrase within it.
Yeah, so after we get the list of words, we then ask for a scenario. So the scenario for this one is 3 friends enter a haunted house. So then we'll just...
I like it.
It's pretty good. It could be pretty good. So we already have the list, like Jack said.
Yeah, we'll put the list in the description of this podcast, so you can all read what all the words were that we had to include in the order that they show up.
Yeah, it's a lot better than saying them out loud because there's about 40 of them, and my god, that would drone on that. So
right. How
right, here we go.
How are we gonna start this off, right? Because if we go through and we say we get like word 6, we've got like, how many words did you count? Like 30?
There's like 40, mate. There's like over 40.
Holy shit! Right. So let's say if we get to like 6 words and we've already ruined it, right? Are we restarting or what?
We could restart from the next word down, so we're not recycling them words.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Because there's so many of them.
God, this is gonna be so difficult to like keep it flowful.
It is.
Right. So
So-
the idea is we're just gonna have to riff off the last thing that was said with the next word.
Yeah. It. You said it earlier where it's like it has to be in the next sentence, like you see it.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily. Right. It always has to include that word though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it could be a couple of sentences, but within them couple of sentences, it would have that word.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
who's going first? I don't mind going first.
I mean, if you're volunteering, unless you want to randomize, like,
I'll go first. You can randomise if you want.
Jona, heads or tails? I'll flip a coin.
Tails.
Sure. Oh, tails. Oh, well, we didn't even decide.
So Jona chooses them.
You can go second.
Alright. Oh, fuck. Alright.
That means you might end off the story though, Jona. That's a hard thing to do, to finish off the story.
It better end well, like.
I'm up for it.
It better begin well. Right, here we go then. Just like we just said, I'll go first, Jack second, and then Jona third. So the premise is 3 friends in a haunted house. Right, so on me watch right now, it is 12:42 AM. We are heading into the haunted house now.
Well, I think you need to put your glasses on. It's 1:42 AM. It's a bit later than that.
Y'all got any more of that green?
Wow. Well, I wasn't expecting that at this haunted house, like, but I brought a guitar.
Wait, is that the one you got from Prague?
When you were cycling in Prague?
Nah, it was Vienna.
Ah. It's a monster guitar, that.
Looks like it's been sunbathing.
I mean, it's pretty sweet.
Will you just stop talking diarrhea now? We're in a haunted house, man. Let's keep it real.
This is just classic Scott Pilgrim v. the World.
Yeah, it is, like, where do you just want to go, like, cause upstairs, I'm pretty sure I've seen a Komodo dragon.
I've got something in my sock.
Jeez.
Or a small girl.
Oh, she's pretty passionate with me feet, like.
Straight from Machu Picchu.
I tell you who could play that little girl. Daniel Day-Lewis.
The girls just turned into a Beatle.
Eating a pasty.
Whoa! What's that over there? It's like an orb in the shape of like a hexagon.
It's a gypsy!
Oh no!
Proper cruising through the sky.
In a canoe.
I think. Oh, hello, Jasmine. Is that you?
Do you think you're Buzz Lightyear wrestling?
Halt ye!
You can't just say the word, give it some context.
Why?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah? Is that Jasmine? so whatever Jona said.
Pass me the bourbon.
What, all 22 bottles of it?
Bloody hell. 22? Jesus. So do you want to go upstairs and we'll camp out in that room? I've got some Greg's pasties if you want to like dish them out.
I don't know, like I think this girl's crawled up from me sock. She's behind me knee now.
She's not getting close to you, Willy.
That's not very safe.
Oh no! I think she's
Like a proper platypus.
Oh my god!
Oh no! Right. God. That trash can over there looks like a claptrap out of our Borderlands. That's. Whew.
The flying gypsy's back.
Now
We
you just
need
hide
to get out of here.
Now you're just hijacking the conversation.
Why is that spanner over there rumbling?
It's just the Apple computer there. It's just vibrating.
Oh no. It's a supernova!
I'm getting sucked into a sofa!
Oh my god.
Help!
It's like an episode of The Simpsons. Why'd I get raped through that, man? Why did it come down to me getting raped?
Oh my god! By a little girl, wasn't it? Or a gypsy? What was
That
that?
wasn't a little girl. Was I raping her? What?
You kept setting it up.
Like so much! I couldn't believe it!
You were like, asking for it.
Behind the knee! Is it close to the willy? Oh my god. Well, I mean, that was hilarious to us. That was really funny. Alright, so that was the Ad-Lib game. Me personally, I think that went pretty well. I don't know how it's going to come off when you all listen to it, but I hope it comes off so well. How do you think it went for you?
I got raped and I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It's really difficult to like stick to a theme to like make it relevant all the time, but
You're right.
because the words are so random, it's just you gotta be on your feet. Like,
Yeah. It probably doesn't make sense. I don't know, for like a story. It'd be really hard to follow. It's like a proper abstract story. Because it keeps
seriously
going
abstract.
like different places.
But the good thing about the topic that we had for it was that it's already a haunted house. It's already like really out there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you could like do random stuff like
Random stuff could be happening in it because it's a haunted house. You wouldn't question that there's a gypsy flying around in a canoe.
yeah, cruising.
Well, I mean, you might question it. But
Or a tiny girl in Jack's sock.
Halt ye! You can't do that. That was pretty funny. It'd be really funny to listen to that back.
I can't wait to listen to that back.
But yeah, if you just want us to do more of them, give us a shout and I'm more than happy to do another one of them.
You could even send us some words somewhere, just any kind of words. There could be adjectives, or there could be like objects, or food, or whatever.
Well, that could
Types of weather.
that could be something that we'll do with the viewers. We could like ask them a set of questions, so we could get one viewer in, ask them a set of questions, and get a list from them.
Yeah, or maybe just each viewer just chip in 5 different words, and then we'll just like put together something from all of our viewers and
Yeah, definitely.
see how that goes. Because obviously these words that we have here weren't labelled in kind of order. It was just purely down to what one of our friends said at the time. So
Yeah.
we had no proper planning or any idea on how that was going to go out.
Like
before it
none. And I think it's came out pretty funny. If you can hear the words when we start laughing, because we know what's coming next. If you follow the list of words, you'll know what's coming next, and you'll see why it's funny coming up. You know. Like, I hope you enjoy it anyway.
Well, I certainly did. I want to do that again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, same.
Right, so I think that pretty much runs our show to a close.
Yeah.
As always, we're on social media. If you want to follow us on there, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, through it's Podcast Lizard, and join our Discord. We are normally always in the general chat. Feel free to come in and talk to us whenever.
Please join our Discord. Just give us some feedback if you've got any, you know. Any ideas, anything on your mind, just let us know and we'll try and accommodate that.
Yeah. And it will be amazing to play with some of you on Miscreated. We have a fun time with that, as you probably heard from our section about Miscreated.
It was a pretty fat section.
It was. We would love to get involved with you on Miscreated.
Yeah. We actually had a little talk in between doing that Ad-Lib and Miscreated section that we're going to cut out. But we were just saying, like, there's loads more things that we could have talked about Miscreated, but
It's so true.
we don't really have that time or that. Well, I think it would be better if anyone listening was to actually play with us. It'd be a shared experience then, instead of us just talking at you all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But like I said, join our Discord. It'll show whenever we're online. Drop us a message, whatever. That's us for this week. Thanks for listening. I've been Jack.
You fucking what? Do you think this is the two runnies, like?
I was reading your name.
What?
I was reading your name on the outro thing.
Right, he's Connor. I'm
Oh
Jack.
my god.
Jona. See you later.
Or you could just go into it. Get them out, Jack. Get them out.
If that's on the podcast, I'm fucking...
It's like you're on a date. You've gone to the bathroom and you're like...